It is Taco Tuesday, January 23rd. That means it's 2 months until my birthday. I know you guys really care about that. I know there's a lot of concern growing about when exactly my birthday is and the type of gifts I would prefer. But we'll get to that. We have plenty of time. But we're here on the money line grind to grind it out. And if you've been here with us since the beginning, you know January has been a big grind. We are actually down this month. If you couldn't tell they were down, I don't have a haircut, I haven't shaved. Things are looking rough right now. Good thing we won a bunch of bets November, December, so that, a down month doesn't hurt us. We're still in the profit zone. Last night we went 1-1, so only 2 bets. We lost our 2-leg parlay. Tim Hardaway Jr. caught a little fire, and the Raptors shit the bed. But the other bet, I did have the Spurs and Sixers going over, what was it called there, 236 points. Pretty easy when one guy accounts for about 30%, and B dropped 70 last night. Very historic. He beat Wilt Chamberlain's franchise record for most individual points scored in the game. Awesome, but that's the past. Let's move on. I got 3 solid picks for you tonight, and let's break them down. First, I like the Knicks -3.5 versus the Nets. You can find this. Most books have it at 4.5, but BetMGM had a pretty soft line. It was about -115. Why was it so soft? Well, there's some concern about Hammerstein. Hammerstein sounds better, but you got to be careful with the hammers after what Popovich kind of stirred up yesterday. But Hartenstein, he's most likely going to be out today. He has an ankle injury, and as we know, he's been their anchor in the paint ever since they lost Mitch Robinson. It's almost like they found a diamond in the rough in Hartenstein. He has multiple 20 rebound games, not 20 points. He defends the paint really well. He uses all of his fouls. He can slow down other dominating big men. So there's some concern there with his ankle injury. The Knicks will likely start Jericho Sims. But I'm really not too concerned here because when you look at the Nets roster, they don't really have a big man presence. They have Nick Claxton, it's decent, but he's not going to really make that much of a difference. I think the guard play and the slashers for the Nets will be something to be more concerned about. Against the Knicks have covered the spread 3 games in a row. In those 3 games, they've won by an average of 20.3 points per game. Their last matchup was in Brooklyn, where the line was -1.5 for the Knicks, and the Knicks ended up winning by 19 points. So the lines have been a little off here. Knicks have been pretty consistent with whooping the Nets' ass. They're playing in Brooklyn, so this is semi-home court game. I'm sure there'll be tons of Knicks fans there, but I think the Knicks have turned a corner since the acquisition of OG. Over the last 5 games, no team has scored over 110 points versus them. And over these five games, the average score the opponents had is 99 points. That's incredible, especially in today's era where scoring is promoted. The Knicks have been able to hold teams under 100 average over the 5 last games. And during this time frame, they're the second best defensive team. So, compared to all the other teams, the Knicks have really turned a corner, at least defensively. In the last 10 games, only one team has scored over 110 points, and that was Dallas. And they were at Dallas, where they typically score a good amount. The league average is just under 116 points. Last 5 games, Knicks are averaging a +17 in that regard. So teams are scoring 17 less points than the league average when playing against the Knicks. Although this is an away game, I'm considering it a semi-home game. Everything should be good. I know Hartenstein is out, but at 3.5 points, the better team should prevail. I like the Knicks. This is my lock of the day. Now, my second clip is the Lakers and the Clippers under 234.5 points per game. This is -110 across the board. Now let's look at this. Bron is out with an ankle injury. Naturally, you're losing one of the best scorers and playmakers to ever play the game. He's also a very smart guy, can get you tons of easy shots. Without Bron, I'm not too sure the Lakers are going to be consistent with feeding AD the ball. You need to get him the ball every single possession. He just has to touch it, inside out, touch the ball every single possession. I've watched the Lakers tons. That's my team. They're not disciplined in that regard. They'll start off, you could bet AD to score his over in the first quarter, but as the game goes on, guys like Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Roy Hamuchi not going to be in the Lakers much longer. These guys see opportunities to score, and I get it. They want to, increase their value, but they kind of stray away from the game plan. So I'm not too sure that they can stay consistent with the game plan to compete tonight. Both teams are top 8 in opponent field goal percentage, and while the Lakers do have D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and guys who are not great defenders, it's fair to note that they get Jared Vanderbilt back, who I think is an exceptional defender. He can guard Paul George or Kawhi Leonard, potentially slow them down. The Lakers have won both matchups this season. Early in the season, it was an overtime game. It counted for about 255 combined points. But they've also played, so that was November 1st, and they also played January 7th, which is 2 weeks ago, with the score was 106-103, a combined score of 209. Now, that is more indicative of how these teams are right now. Ever since, the Clippers have gotten, ironically, James Harden. Somehow, some way, they've turned the corner defensively. Now you can make the argument, well, now you have Westbrook off the court. But Harden is no strong defender at it, but something has clicked over there. I have to respect the Clippers. Tyronn Lue got them clicking. Offense is looking good. Powell's contributing. They don't have Zubac tonight. So I would imagine offensive rebounds may not occur as high of a clip as they have in the past. You do have Plumlee, solid defender. He's going to beat the shit out of AD, take him to the line. I don't see many three-pointers coming from the Lakers tonight. It just seems like an overall under type of vibe. And with Bron out, Lakers look like they're going to have to make a trade soon. And the Clippers really come into this matchup, in my opinion, fully prepared. It's a 9-point spread, and you could really take the Clippers to cover. I wouldn't be surprised if this game actually turns into a blowout. You heard it here first. It's very possible the Clippers are up 20 plus points at halftime. Now, my third play, and I love doing these little two-legger humble parlays, is what I like to call them. This one's plus 134. Now, we have the Pacers alternate spread plus 7.5 versus the Nuggets. The Pacers are at home tonight. And then we're also taking the Pelicans money line at home against the Jazz. Pacers and Nuggets played last week in Denver, where the Pacers were 10.5-point underdogs, and they covered, only losing by 8. Siakam was not on the team then, and so I'd imagine they'll be a little bit better today. They'll be better defensively, they'll be better on the boards, they'll be better all around with Siakam in the lineup, who in his 2 games is a total of plus 8 in his plus minus. Small sample size, but something worth noting. Also fair to note, Pacers are home, where they're 13-8. And the Nuggets have struggled a little bit. They have a winning record in the road, but they've struggled a little bit. Not as good as the team, obviously, without the home court advantage and the altitude advantage that you get over there in Denver, Colorado. Then we're taking the Pelicans, money line versus the Jazz. Jazz were on fire about a week ago. They won 6 games in a row. 4 out of those 6 games, however, were at home. And I think this is a matter of home versus away, especially in this matchup. Now let's take a look. Jazz at home are impressive 15-6. That's amazing. If they could somehow match that for their away record or somewhat close, they'd be one of the best teams in the NBA. But on the road, they're Mr. Hyde. And that's a play on words, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, but like Mr. Hyde, you hide. Don't worry, you stay around long enough, you'll catch the puns and entendres. But they're 7-16. And aside from me believing that the Pels are the better team, they also haven't had to travel since the 15th of this month. They've been off since the 19th. So they're well rested. They're at home where they seem to strive. They play better. And the Jazz struggle. So I do like the Pelicans to come out there fresher. Jazz kind of in limbo, not sure of really their identity. We're not sure if they want to compete or not. It might be almost time for them to tuck the season. Whereas we know the Pelicans, they're fighting for playoff position now. Like, all this would matter. They want to be a top 4 team. I don't know if they can. They definitely have a ton of talent. They could be. But that kind of grind starts out now. And I think that they're aware of this, and they have to get the wins against the teams that they're supposed to win. And so those are the 3 plays I had today. I wish you guys nothing but luck. Hopefully we get back on track and we start stacking. I think we're up about 13 units so far since the start of this. It's been a little over 2 months. So let's keep on grinding. Best of luck today. Feel free to shoot me any messages. And keep grinding.